Who y'all got, Logan or Dillon though? Look, bro, look all the bullshit. I know everybody's a Dillon Danis fan now ever since he been roasting this nigga's bitch. I know.
Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis.
The only thing I don't like about Logan right now is how like all about prime, like that whole thing with his brother needs to like, yo, bro, it's family over everything, bro. Fuck all the bullshit. Unless Jake actually does some nut shit. Family over everything, bro. That's the only thing I don't respect about that Logan nigga right now.
It's the biggest fight in YouTube boxing since Jake
Whatever
Paul
he got going on with his
Tommy
bitch fiance,
Fury.
I do not give a fuck.
It's incredible because this is the co-main event on the same card where there's the KSI versus Tommy Fury fight. Who would have thought that Dillon Danis' interest in Logan's wife would turn what seemed like a mismatch into one of the most intriguing matchups in YouTube boxing history? Despite all the trash talk and tweets, don't forget that—
Bro, y'all understand, y'all like literally went from not liking Dillon to liking him because he flames this nigga's girlfriend, right?
ultimately they have
You understand that?
Well, in the trash talk,
When this nigga's not talking about this nigga's girlfriend, like what does this nigga say? Something about Crypto Zoo or some shit?
Dillon has the upper hand.
Niggas roast our ass,
in
I'm
the
not gonna lie.
actual fight.
But when he talks about his girls, them shits is fire as fuck.
Why?
Like, I don't know, he be
Well, it's
hitting them
because
bitches that be
Danis
hitting the
is
soul.
primarily a grappler, and the fight footage we've seen so far isn't that impressive. Now let's dive into the details. Dillon Danis' technique.
Like, I feel like this nigga's gonna lose, bro. I feel like this nigga's gonna lose.
Be told, he only had 2 MMA fights, but he finished both very quickly.
Oh,
Here we
shit.
see his first fight, and even a
I
blind
don't give a fuck about that MMA turn boxing niggas. Like, them niggas, I don't care. Bro, Jake already showed you, like, them niggas get put down easy, nigga.
man has already noticed that Dillon,
Let alone this nigga who only has 2 fights
say,
in MMA.
his stance is very inspired by Conor
Conor.
McGregor.
It look like Conor. Look
And
at
for
him.
good
Yes.
reason, because Danis is McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach and part of the pre-fight entourage. As we can see, both have taught each other a lot. But
that
if
Khabib
being
nigga's
more
a demon.
serious, the
Chance
problem
Khabib
is
to
that
go-
Dillon doesn't fully understand why McGregor's hands are so high and wide apart, and his jaw is in the sky. Young Conor did this in order to easily block hooks and overheads in his direction.
One of them? Bro, that nigga Khabib is him. You're too short, it is.
And have time to throw in counterattacks with straight punches. The gap between his hands was deliberate, luring the opponent to hit the jaw. For this, McGregor always had
Oh
a
my
pull at
God.
the ready, after which he threw the left straight, uppercuts, or
Jesus
combinations
Christ.
of hooks.
Jesus Christ.
That is, yes, the stance is certainly a cool-looking one, but Conor used it not to show off, but for business, to create an advantage in battle. And Dillon apparently doesn't know that in fights, you have to hit and make sure you don't get hit. Because of this, a person with a negative record injects hooks and overheads to his head through his block without
Man, this nigga lost both them fights? No, he won? He won both or 1-1?
any problems. But there
2-0?
are pluses.
Okay, good.
It's the speed of movement and cage control. Pay attention to how
How
Danis
long ago was
cleverly
this? This
pressures.
has to be long ago,
He
right,
does
Chad?
not pursue his opponent,
5 years, maybe 4 years?
but cuts the cage and is quite light on his feet. It's also worth noting the work in the clinch. He is good enough in making the opponent
5?
quickly feel his weight. Danis definitely has a good grip and will be able to impose dirty boxing there. Most likely this will be his game plan, but more on that later. Because he simply does not have distance control, and it's not just about
This
what we saw
nigga's fucked. I'm not gonna lie. This Logan nigga's tall and long. And
in the fights. There you can make an excuse on the fact that in
He
MMA
got
it is
gorilla
quite
arms.
difficult to understand the distance, because there are kicks, clinch, and wrestling. But even if we look at his boxing training, all the problems of controlling the distance are present. As in fights, he is too close to a sparring partner or even a heavy bag. In combat, this is reflected in the fact that he constantly gets clocked on the head without even having time to swing back. And in training, all his blows are clumsy. He doesn't even allow his hands to straighten. He hits half his arm length, so he deprives himself of a possible range.
KSI not looking as sloppy as he usually do, bro. KSI be looking wild as fuck sometimes. Like, he can't do that against Tommy Fury. He better tighten that shit up.
Advantage.
Now, let's take a look at his opponent's capabilities. Logan Paul's technique.
Logan has no sporting desire to prove something. He is rather a businessman who earns money by entertaining the masses. Because of that, he succumbs to pressure and worries in competitive events.
Bro, Logan, I seen the comment you made on how KSI was more difficult than... Wait, who was it? I forgot what he said. What he say? KSI was more difficult than Floyd? Yeah, I ain't like, stop the bullshit. Stop all that stupid shit, bro. That nigga Floyd was an old-ass man playing with your ass for money again. Literally let it go on the distance to play with you for the entertainment value, bro. That nigga was not... That nigga didn't break a sweat, gang. Like, come on, bro. Let's be fucking for real, bro.
Because it is
This nigga KSI was damn near dying on that fucking...
simply not in his nature. This permeates his entire fighting style.
Like, let's be and you're like a whole foot and 100 pounds more than that nigga.
In fights
That's
only
crazy.
does what he tries to stop the actions of the enemy, but he almost never himself initiates attacks. If you study his fights in detail, it becomes noticeable that he always avoids exchanges. Logan likes to punch clean, accurate counterstrikes. Everything that is clumsy and throws an exchange does not interest him. Logan considers himself as a counter-striker. In all his fights, he almost does not move and waits for the moment to counterattack. To do this, he uses only his athleticism. He really has excellent reflexes and speed. But the problem is that the counter-striker creates traps that the opponent enters, after which a counterattack is made. In one of the previous videos,
I ain't gonna lie, there was a few times during that KSI Logan shit, I thought Logan had that. I ain't gonna lie, a few times. I ain't want that nigga to win. Rage ever been to Canada? Nah.
I cited the example of Conor McGregor.
Floyd Eagle, Aiden, I seen that shit. That was some bitch nigga shit. But then he apologized right after or some shit.
As an example of a counter-striker. His stance, the position of his hands and jaw are all sharpened to ensure that the opponent seeks to inflict a certain set of blows on him. But Conor has a pull counter
paid him? No, wait, I don't think Aiden paid
for
him.
that. Even in the defeat to Dustin Poirier, the opponent
If Aiden paid that nigga after that shit, that's some bitch nigga shit. Aiden did not pay that nigga.
has repeatedly said that his counterattacks are very fast and sharp. But Logan is unfortunately unaware of the traps and feints. In all his fights, he stands still, sometimes slightly tilting the body in front, shaking the glove to relieve stress and relax in the moment of waiting for a counterattack. After that, he stops the opponent's pressure with a jab or left hook, if reflexes allow him to. Due to the fact that he is just waiting and trying to catch the opponent on the move, Logan simply makes his jab useless. He doesn't use his
That nigga
reach.
can't stop fucking lunge at that nigga.
Simply makes his jab
Look at his jab.
useless. He doesn't use his reach and doesn't try to set the distance of the fight himself, but simply tries to stop the distance cutting. Logan's anthropometry
Which one was fight 2? Was this fight 1 or 2 here, chat? This is fight 1?
asks him to throw the combination that we call in
Was that
Ukraine
2? This one right here. Bro, there's something about KSI's fighting I don't like, but I want him to be great. I want him to work all these niggas. I want him to beat all these niggas, but there's when I watch this nigga, I have no faith in it. This shit just looks so ass. Like, I don't know. So I don't know. Okay, it looks so like sloppy. I can't put my hand on it. It's just wild. It's like a fucking, I don't know.
postman or 1-1-2.
Disgusting.
Double jab to get close and close the view of the opponent, then powerful straight.
Like, Jake is hella like composed.
However,
Even though I feel like all his fights are fucking fraudulent against some MMA fucking niggas. And as soon as he fought the first one real box, he fucking lost, bro. At least he like looks like a boxer, bro. He look like a real boxer.
Paul doesn't even use his backhand in
KSI
the fight. In the second fight with KSI,
I don't know, bro.
he hit with the backhand
I'm surprised
5
KSI
times in
stuck with
6
his boxing
rounds,
shit. I ain't gonna cap.
2 times of which was the uppercut, with which he dropped and rocked JJ.
The fuck?
That is, he voluntarily ignores his most powerful weapon and relies only on the front hand. Because of that, He has problems when you pressure him.
Yo, that nigga
KSI
can't
understood this in their first fight, despite the difference in size. JJ successfully pressed Logan by simply provoking him to throw jab or brazenly ignoring Paul's jab. After that, Logan simply did not have an answer. He constantly, in a panic, tries to catch with the left hook, and while retreating, his back to the ropes. When Logan moves to the sides and pressures with the jab, he really looks like the best YouTube boxer in the world. He understands the logic of distance covering. Rarely does he press with one punch, for often it's a double jab. But unfortunately, when he arrives at the place of exchange, he simply freezes and does nothing. At such moments, it's ideal for him to use a combination of 1-1-2. He has to work on the finishing stage of pressing, but he rarely makes mistakes when shifting. When he's moving to the left, he is always ready to throw a check hook to stop the opponent from chasing or cutting the corner. And moving to the right,
Look, has so much potential. That's what I used to say to myself
is
too.
accompanied by a raised hand.
He do.
This is the only situation
Surprised he went to that WWE shit. I thought
when
he was just stick
Logan
with the
holds
boxing
his hands
shit.
high. A fairly simple way to protect the chin, but it always works.
Nigga let his
It's
brother
also
fucking
worth
overtake
noting
him.
his annoying clinch. Always in close range, he tries to tie up the opponent and not let him fight. But at the same time, he himself
That shit was so annoying here, bro. Like Floyd is fucking 5'5",
in the
nigga.
clinch delivers good
So
blows.
tall ass.
In fact, in
Damn.
this position, he dropped KSI with an uppercut, which is the most
I ain't gonna lie, he held the nigga, that back of that nigga head.
underrated weapon.
That shit's
It
crazy.
seems that
And why it look like he held that nigga like he isn't?
KSI with an uppercut, which is the most underrated weapon. It seems that Logan himself does not know how powerful this punch is. When he combines constant movement and tying up an opponent in a clinch at close range, Logan looks invincible.
With all this information, let's try to predict the outcome of this bout.
I low-key feel like Logan.
How will
man.
the fight unfold?
But that's if Logan's been training this whole time while doing WWE. If that nigga Logan just picked boxing back up within the last month or two, you're cooked, buddy.
Unfortunately, it's tough to envision a consistent scenario for a Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis match. This is due to the skills displayed by Danis and his physique. Yes, remember that Logan is much taller, heavier, and far more athletic. It's evident that he will use the reach advantage of his arms to keep Dillon at bay and systematically work with his jab, and when Danis attempts
Yo, that nigga was trying everything on Floyd.
keep Dillon at bay
What's
and
so quick?
systematically
Goddamn.
work with his jab, and when Danis
Nigga wasn't
attempts to
hitting
close the
shit.
distance rapidly, Paul will meet him with a rear hand uppercut or a straight punch. I believe Danis himself recognizes the difficult situation he's in. He likely won't hesitate to engage in clinches and close quarters combat. Here, he will utilize dirty boxing, trip attempts, and other underhanded tactics to tire out Logan's arms. If he manages to survive the initial rounds, Danis can use his ring-cutting skills and pressuring to wear down Logan. This might lead to a real brawl that will end with decision by the judges, where I still believe Paul will triumph. This fight is more about how Logan will win than who will win. If
Yeah, I
Danis
don't
can't
think
find
Dillon
an answer
wins
to
this
Logan's
shit.
jab, he'll likely be knocked out within the first
Dillon just gotta find more memes to fucking post after he loses or some shit. Like, what do I say after?
three rounds.
You know what I'm saying?
If he does find a way to counter Logan's
More
jab,
jokes type
he
shit.
might make it to the
Like he loses, like, all right, this is the fact that your girlfriend is a this and
judge's
whatever the fuck
decision
he's
and
saying.
secure a couple of rounds. Most likely,
That's my
if Dillon
predictions.
starts losing, he will resort to a lot of trash talk and dirty tactics, similar to Nate Diaz's approach in the fight against Jake Paul. So don't be surprised.
Yo, yeah, did y'all watch this fight? This shit was funny as fuck to me. First of all, as soon as I seen this nigga Nate Diaz come out, I knew. First of all, I hated that first round, bro. Bro, if that you didn't watch that, bro, if that Nate Diaz knockdown, if that knockdown of Nate Diaz didn't happen, bro, I feel like it would have been way better, bro. But
Surprised if Danis gonna pull guillotine out
this
of
shit
nowhere.
was funny as fuck. to me.
However, let's be honest. Who could have predicted just a month ago that Dillon Danis would return to the spotlight in the world of misfits boxing? Moreover, he gets a matchup against Logan Paul where he'll appear as a true hero. He has managed to make a comeback in terms of reputation and public image, so don't be surprised if he actually pulls off his promise and knocks out Logan. Perhaps these mind games...
Bro, Logan, you get knocked out by this nigga, you're done. Eviscerate yourself from the internet, you're done. Like, say goodbye, buddy. Like, you would never, like, you're cooked, buddy. You lose to this nigga after he disrespected your fiance like that, you're cooked, buddy.